That's Based with Caleb Salvatore is a comedic informative production, meaning it covers serious topics in a humorous manner. Some of the opinions expressed are satirical hyperbole, some are not. Some of the content may not be suitable for all listeners. If you're easily offended, tune out now. We don't want pussy bleeding little bitches consuming our content. I have dementia and pooped my pants while visiting the Pope.
Welcome to That's Based. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground. I'd like to say that we're laughing our way through the end of days, but we're really not, because this isn't a laughing matter. You might notice it's Sunday. We don't do shows on Sunday. We never do shows on Sunday. Sometimes we'll do shows on Friday if we have an interview, but we never, ever, ever do shows on Sunday. I'm not even going to read my sponsors, because this isn't that type of show. This is an emergency press conference. This is, when I read this morning, I had to fact check it 8 times because I thought there was no way it could possibly be real. We're recording this Saturday, by this will air Sunday. I just wanted to go, because I'm going to be doing stuff all day Sunday. I had to go check because I thought there's no way this could possibly be real. There's no way. I have such a low opinion of this president and this administration. I think they are the absolute scum of the earth, piles of filth that are intentionally destroying this country. And even I had to take a step back and say, no way. No way. I had to press pause on the outrage. But I looked and it's true. It's true. Happy Easter, by the way, or if you're going by the president's proclamation, happy Trans Day of Visibility. I'll pull it up right here. I'll read the proclamation from the White House. There it is. Mia's not with us. She's in bed. It's the early morning. I'm outraged. And I just need to, and I don't get outraged a lot, but I needed to vent. So here we are. And I have a platform I can do that, and that's cool. Here's what it says. Now, therefore, it's, excuse me, Transgender Day of Visibility. This is a different one here. It says, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President, I'm reading the actual proclamation. I have a different one pulled up on the screen. President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility. I call upon all Americans to join us in lifting up the lives and voices of transgender people throughout our nation and to work toward eliminating violence and discrimination based on gender identity. So happy Trans Day of Visibility. Now, we can break that statement down. We've discussed the statistics that the LGBTQ 4K HD TV community themselves have released about violence against transgender people. We've broken it down 1,000,000 times on this show. You are safer as a member of the trans community from violence than any other group in this country. Black people, white people, gay people, Muslims, Jews, Christians, Asians, anything. You are safer. There is no group that has a lower homicide rate than the trans community. So yes, I would like to eliminate all violence. I would like, if we could get those numbers to 0, that would be great, but the reality is we can't. And what they won't talk about is how much of that violence is committed against them by members of their own group. So we're not even going to talk about how ridiculous the claim is. We're going to focus on the fact that they chose, of all the days, the most sacred of the Christian holidays in Easter Sunday. They didn't do the Saturday before. They didn't do the Sunday after. Any day. They could have done any other day in the month of March and the month of April, other than like 2 or 3 for Good Friday and Easter. But they chose Easter Sunday. Why? It's not like this was a bill that we had to fund or the whole government was going to shut down. This was totally voluntary. It was virtue signaling that nothing was going to change if they didn't issue this or if they waited a week to do it. I understand that woke virtue signaling, it comes with the package of this administration. I get it. It's annoying, it's dumb, but at the end of the day, I've come to expect it, right? That's nothing new. It's the outright desecration of sacred holidays. This is blasphemy. This is sacrilegious. Make no mistake. When you take something that goes against the religion, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, but you take something that goes against the religion of the majority of this country and Christians and make it and declare a day celebrating it on their most sacred holiday, you are spitting in their faces. It is 100% intentional. This quote-unquote devout Catholic president spit in the faces of Christians. There's no other religion you could do this to, and you know I'm telling the truth. There's a reason that young men are, even in the West, are joining Islam at a much faster rate than they are Christianity. There's a reason for it, because you may not agree with their tactics, but they don't put up with this shit. There is no other religion they could do this to. None. Imagine if they put Trans Day of Visibility on the first day of Ramadan. Or they did it to a Jewish holiday. If they desecrated a Muslim holiday with Trans Day of Visibility this way, there would be a national security alert. People would be living in fear. The airlines would have to shut down. And we know what would happen if they did it to a Jewish holiday. Oh, boy. Bye-bye funding, right? But for whatever reason, the one religion that they believe it's okay to go after is Christians. And it's because we don't fight back. And when I say fight back, I don't mean we have to be violent or we have to be violent. We don't stick up for ourselves. We let this shit continue to happen. And the problem is, not only are we going to stand by and let this happen, about a third of us are going to cheer it on. A third of Christians and Catholics in this country are excited about this. Yes, Queen! You're a disgrace to your ancestors. You should feel bad. You are filth. You're trash. A third of Christians will actively cheer this on, while half of them will vote for this scum and try to put it back in office next year, or in November. That's where we fucked up. That's how we messed this up. You want to know the last time? This isn't the first time this president has declared a Trans Day of Visibility. You know the last time they did it? The last time they did it was right after a transgender mass shooter walked into a school full of Christian kids and killed five of them and a teacher. So this is a pattern of behavior. A pattern of behavior directed specifically at Christians. This is about torching your traditions and your religions and everything you find sacred. And Muslims and Jews, we're the test run because we don't stick up for ourselves. But if you don't think they're coming for you next, just wait. That's what that's what the Cultural Revolution does. That's what the communists do, is they take all of the institutions and everything society's founded upon that gives it its stability and burn them to the ground. Typically from the inside out, they infiltrate them from the inside, and they spread like a plague and destroy them. Look into it. Mao's Cultural Revolution. We covered it pretty extensively on this show about a year ago. The four olds that they had to get rid of: old ideas, old culture, old customs, old habits. And after they got rid of the four olds and demonized them and desecrated them and danced in the ashes, you know what they did? They took everyone that still believed in it, lined them up against the wall, and killed them. They massacred 80 million of their own people. They had the Red Guard. It was young people that they had brainwashed by infiltrating the schools, turned them against their parents and grandparents, religious leaders. Said, hey, the new God and the new mom and dad is government. They inducted them into this woke ideology. One of the things they played on was gender. They could turn them against their parents. No, your parents aren't concerned about you. They're just bigoted trash that doesn't understand, and they got them to kill their own parents. Look into it. Mao's Cultural Revolution. The four olds. You are living in it, And this administration, I don't think it's Biden. Biden's dementia. He wasn't awake when this happened, right? Biden's got dementia. But this administration has taken the playbook for the Cultural Revolution and is copying it step by step with some minor adjustments so they don't go wrong where Mao did. You are living in unprecedented times. These people that have infiltrated this country are fucking demons. You know it's bad when I do a Sunday show. Never do a Sunday show. I'm not telling jokes on here. We're not having a good time. South Park Biden that started the show off talking about covering serious topics in a humorous manner. This ain't jokes. This is not something to joke about. At this point, I would never encourage anyone to do anything stupid. I don't know if he gets reelected. Because my brother texted me about this morning. He's like, how? This has to be the most tone-deaf thing. His reelection's doomed. There's no way you can come back from this. This has to be, of all the offenses he's done, as bad as he's been, this has to be his most egregious. There can't be any coming back from this, right? You can't come back from this. This is the most tone-deaf, blatantly retarded, in-your-face thing I think I've ever seen a president do. Yet they did it anyway. And that's what we talk about is these people don't get in these positions by being idiots, right? We can disagree with their policies, but you don't rise to the top of any industry, let alone politics, by being a dumb person. You've at least somewhat got your finger on the pulse of this country, and your moves are somewhat calculated. So we have to find the why to the what. The why to the what. There's two things that happened here. Number one, this is to spit in the face of Christians, because every communist, every dictator ever, one thing they've done is run the religions out. They've had to destroy the religions because they understand that if people can look up and see a higher power that's greater than government, they know that people don't have to answer to government because the government doesn't get the final say at the end of the day. So that's why they have all, doesn't matter, communist, fascist, every dictator has targeted the predominant religions in whatever country they're in. This is number one, them outright declaring war on Christians and Catholics. Make no mistake. I talk on this show about how there's a spiritual war going on. This confirmed it. We are at war spiritually in this country. It ain't getting better. This was like if there were, so take like the Russia-Ukraine situation, right? Everyone says we're basically at World War III because we're sending all this money and supplies and resources to Ukraine to fight Russia and Israel in the Middle East and China. So this is like we've had skirmishes going on and we've been fighting satellite wars for a decade. This is like if Russia said, you know what, we're done, and then dropped a bomb on the coast of Florida. This is what just happened. There ain't no hiding it now. There's no denying it. We are at war with some very, very evil people that are hell-bent on destroying this country. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've studied history, you don't even have to study history. We've talked about Mao's Cultural Revolution. You can look into other communist dictatorship takeovers, right? I don't have to tell you where this goes next. We broke it down like it's a basketball series, right? Obama won 2, Trump won 1, Biden won 1. It's 3-1. November? That's the elimination game. It's a 7-game series. You win 4, it's over. They win in November. The stakes have never been higher, man. If they win in November, this ends with me and you and everyone you love in a work camp or worse. I don't have to tell you where this goes. All you have to do is look at history. It repeats itself all the time. Humans are pretty habitual creatures. That's where this goes. This ends with the complete destruction of this country as we know it and a full-blown civil war. And us being told to face the wall. This ends with you being taken from your family because they didn't like a meme you shared on Facebook, and then they drag you out into your yard and shoot you in the back of the head in front of them. That's where this goes. If this president gets reelected, this country will burn to the ground. There is nothing more dangerous than a lame duck Joe Biden. This could very well be your last election in 2024. I'm telling you right now, the veil is so thin right now. The wall of protection is so thin right now. And I'm not a big Donald Trump fan. But heroes throughout history have not been perfect people. They haven't been. Heroes throughout history have been very, very flawed individuals that rose to the occasion when they were called upon. So as many qualms as I have with Donald Trump and how he behaves and his adultery, views on marriage and women, the reality is no one who has stopped a great evil has ever been perfect. Winston Churchill was a drunk. Martin Luther King was an adulterer. I mean, we can go on and on and on down the list. Everyone throughout history that's accomplished great things and stopped evil in its tracks has been a very, very flawed individual, because it takes a flawed individual that understands they're flawed to stop the greater evil. So right now, the only thing standing, and this is scary, the only thing standing between us and pure annihilation, between us and being told to face the wall while they shoot us in the back of the head, literally, not politically. That's where this is going, is we're going to get killed in camps, door to door, dragging us from our homes, killing us in front of our family while they put them in work camps. That's where this goes. The only thing standing between us and that is a vulgar New York real estate investor that hosted a reality TV show. And I don't like it, and you don't like it, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So that's reason number one why they did this, was to spit in the face of Christians. Number two, the second reason they did this, let's think about what he's campaigned on, Biden. Think about what he talked about in the State of the Union. Think about what he's called random speeches while he's sundowning to stand in front of red lights with soldiers around him so he can scream and demonize the other side. MAGA extremists. Let's think about the state of the world the state of the country and the state of the world under Joe Biden. Groceries are expensive as hell. Energy's shooting back up. The stock market, I mean, yeah, it's good right now. It's continuing. The stock market's not representative of the economy as a whole at all. The stock market, any minute, man, we're walking on a trapdoor, right? Your retirement's going to be in the toilet at any second now. Grocery prices, the economy's in the hole. You got mass layoffs, yet they continue to gaslight us and tell us that the unemployment rate's lower than it's ever been. The inflation rate's lower than it's ever. It's total lies, right? Nobody's buying it. And they're realizing nobody's buying it. Let's look at the state of the international community. Under Donald Trump, was it peaceful? No, but it's the closest it's been in my lifetime. Now under Biden, Russia invades Ukraine. Palestine and Israel kick off for real this time. China, any moment, could go after Taiwan. Never been closer to World War III than we are right now under Joe Biden. Everything this guy's touched has turned to shit because he is bad at his job. And what have I told you throughout this entire cycle? Desperate people do desperate things. Biden and the establishment are desperate. They can't run on their economy. They can't run on I didn't even mention the border. They can't run on immigration, that's for sure. They can't run on what they've accomplished in the international community because they know people just ain't buying it because they're seeing all this stuff going on. And they know they can't buy it. So what do they have left to run on? And that's fear. That's it. Desperate people do desperate things. So now they're doing this. They had to do the most egregious thing possible. Why? They want to solicit a response. They want, and this is why I tell people, don't get violent. Don't do stupid shit. Don't call in bomb threats. Don't do anything like that. Because this is what they want. They are trying to goad people on the right into doing something really, really stupid. so they can say, look at this right-wing extremist threat that we're running against. This is why you need to vote for us, to quell these terrorists. All it takes. That's all, and that's why I say all the time, we have to vote these people out, man. Because if anyone out there goes out and does something stupid and shoots a bunch of people or calls in bomb threats to a drag show or whatever, all you're doing is giving them ammunition for fear. Look at the great big MAGA extremist threat. You need to vote for us. We'll put these terrorists to bed. And then they get reelected and they go after everybody. Because what you guys don't realize is you may be a run-of-the-mill centrist New England-style Republican, but it doesn't matter. They see anyone to the right of Stalin as a MAGA extremist. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to bait someone into doing something stupid. That's the goal here. They are trying to elicit a response that will probably come in the form of a terror attack. And if there's anyone out there that listens to this show that is, I mean, I know you're all pissed off, but if there's anyone out there listening to this show right now that is thinking, you know what, I don't have a whole lot to lose. I'm tired of it. I might go do something stupid. I want you to heed my words. Please listen to me. Do not give them what they want, because it may feel like you're making a difference. It may feel like the right thing to do. I understand your frustration, but it does two things. Number one, there's no need to hurt innocent people. Number two, if anything else, if you really care about where this country's going and you want to avoid the scenario that I just painted for you, you cannot give them the fuel you cannot give them the gasoline to fuel this reelection, because that's what they want. If nothing else, if you don't feel like you have anything to lose, don't do it for the good of the country. Does that make sense? Don't do the stupid thing that you might feel like is going to help resolve this situation or air out your frustrations. Don't do it so you can help save the country. Because we've talked about it. Suburban white women are going to tip the scale in this election. What's it easy to do to that group? Scare them. They're hoping to rile them into a frenzy. Do not give them that ammunition. It's getting close, man. It's getting close. We have to beat them. We have to beat them, and we have to make sure we beat them so badly that even the cheating that they're going to, because they're going to cheat, we have to make sure that even the cheating can't overcome the landslide that we beat them by in November. Otherwise, we're fucked. Otherwise, and I don't want this, I would never call for anyone to do this. If Biden gets reelected and we continue down this path, I don't see how we avoid a civil war. I don't see how we avoid a full-blown civil war in this country. I don't think it's possible. I think that's the tipping scale. Like I said, it's a basketball series, NBA playoffs. It's 3-1 right now. One more win, the series is over. And we can cry about officiating and all that, but we lose, it's over, man. I know it's cliche, and unfortunately, it's boy who cried wolf syndrome at this point. Everyone talks about, it's the most important election of our lifetime, blah, 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 blah. This is. You will not in your lifetime. The stakes for an election have never been higher. Because this could very well be the last one. And there'll be other elections. Not legitimate ones, though. Not after they run this country off a cliff. That's all I got. This is pure evil, man. This is demonic. This is demonic what they've done. These people belong in prison. They do. The people that run this country. And all you useful idiots out there that are applauding this, you know what Mao did to the Red Guard after he took over? Because he got them to go. The Red Guard was basically the Antifa, the BLM, right? He got them to go out and commit acts of violence, right? You know what he did to the Red Guard after he took over? Look it up. He used the chaos that his own people had created, the chaos and violence in the streets, as an excuse for the government to come in and take more power. He said, look at this. Look at how horrible the violence is, this political extremism in our streets. You need to give me more power so I can squash this. It was something he created on his own, and he came in and he killed them all. The communists literally call you guys useful idiots. When the people that are pulling your strings, and you may not even think they're pulling your strings, but they are, when the people that are pulling your strings are done with you, they will do the same thing to you. You will either be put to work or put to death. It's your call. It may not be your call, actually. That's the other thing. Even if they don't get a response, you know what'll happen? They'll fake one. So if they don't get the radical Christian extremist response they want, they don't get a terror attack or something like that, they'll just fake one. They'll stage one. So be on the lookout for that, too. I'm not suicidal, by the way, to make that clear. Just put that, and Christ is king. Weird, this comes right after the debate saying that Christ is king is anti-Semitic. Kind of weird, huh? I hope everyone has a good Easter, or Trans Day of Visibility, excuse me. Hope everyone has a good Easter. Wear your religion a little bit more proudly. It's time to get loud. It's time to take your faith a little bit more personally this year. It's time to get loud and in the face of these fucking demon spawns from hell. And the other thing, and this might be controversial, when I say they want to elicit a response, it's not just in the form of terror attacks. That's a macro, but they want micro responses too. They want us to get nasty to random transgender people. That's the goal. So they can say, look at these bigots. Look at these horrible people. They want us to just tweet horrible things about transgender people. Don't buy that. Don't take that bait either. Those are people that have mental illness, and it's sad, and I feel bad for a lot of them. But don't lose sight of this. Your enemy is not some guy that wants to look at himself in the mirror because he thinks he's a girl. That's not your enemy. Your enemy is in Washington, D.C. Your enemy are the people destroying this country. Now, if there's a grown man that wants to share a locker room with your daughter, yeah, that guy's part of the enemy. Sure. But for a different reason. The greater enemy is in Washington. So don't tweet nasty things about transgender people. Don't do anything like that. Keep your eye on the prize. Remember who the fight is against. Like I said, the transgender guy that thinks he's a woman and wants to sit around playing Minecraft and posting on Reddit all day is not the one who's running for re-election in November that's going to run this country off a cliff. Keep your eye on the prize. Focus your energy on the bastards that have desecrated your faith. And then tune in Monday for unsolicited advice on this show. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse. See you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Stay based.